Hey Annie, Dennis Feidner. Thanks for calling this morning. So I'm going to walk you through a couple things. I'm sure you've used YouTube before, so you know you can stop this thing anytime you want. Take a look at the screen if you want to see more of the entry screens or the fields on the entry screens. But I'm just going to walk you through kind of what I think will make the most sense for you. So I'm on this tab, and these are customizable by individual. And one of the things that I think you're going to like is it's pretty easy to use once it gets set up. But you know, if a client called right now and said something like, I'm going to open this up. This is my next work order number, and it's not spelled wrong. I had to translate some stuff into Spanish for somebody in Puerto Rico yesterday. So it puts in the next work order number. I'm going to pick my favorite client, only the client number that I know. So I picked Jessica. It comes up here and it reminds me she has a pretty good size outstanding balance, and it's all past due. You know, let's just say cooler in produce section, right? I don't know if you use food stores or something. We have customers that do that. That's not working. I'm just going to give it a job number here. Don't have to, but and this is where you're talking about. So I can start this out as a quote and email it out. If they approve it, then I come back in here and just change the status. Just come right back into the same screen, change it to a work order, which I'm just going to do a work order straight out to save some time. And then these are customizable. So in your case, you may have service calls, repair calls. It's a warranty on a new piece of equipment. You may want to track that separately. You may want to track all your new installation labor costs. This is that point of sale that we talked about, that kind of thing. And so I'm just going to pick service here. And then I come down, and then I know Jessica has multiple locations, so I'm just going to pick this location to send them to. You'll see that it populated in the right person's name, the phone number, and the service area, and a cross street. That's all from the master file. Next thing I do is I click one tab over, go to the dispatch, and let's just send Carlos out. He's my favorite. And we're not going to put any of that in. We don't need a vendor. It's a regular priority. And here, it could be 1 is emergency, 3 is just a normal service call. So I'm going to put 3 for the prompt. We're going to put today's date on it. I'm going to send him out at 4 o'clock. It's probably going to take him 2 hours. So he's going to be there. He's going to be there. It's to 6, and it's going to take him 30 minutes to drive there from where he is right now. So I'm just going to save this real quick. So now, if I go options, dispatch board, there is Carlos for today, Friday, 30 minutes of travel time, and who he needs to see and where he needs to go. It's got the address, phone number, and the contact person. So the nice part is, if they have a smartphone, I just come down here and say email to technician, and all that information right there is going to be emailed to his phone, so nobody has to call him. Let's just say Carlos, and I'm sure this happens to you, Carlos gets hung up on a job and he can't get out of there. So I'm just going to drag this across and give this to Frank. And so Frank's going to go do it. And now this is assigned to Frank, and I can give it to Frank. So that's it. And so now it's on the dispatch board. I'm done. So the guy calls back, and I got to go back to that work order. Hang on a second. So it's with Frank. That's a cooler in the produce. That come into billing. What invoice date do I want to put on it? A few other odds and ends. But here's where I come in and say, you know what? I used... I gotta find some things here, so hang on a second. We just, I don't have a whole lot of people here, so I'm just gonna pick an operator because it's, I have them in there. And let's say he worked 2 hours, that's what it was, 2 hours. And this would all be in a database, and he said, you bill at $65 an hour, and just go into the service income department. That's it. I come down to next line item, and I'm going to go find a real part this time. There's a coupling. You know, there was 3 of these. I come in here, pick the next part. There was some black pipe, and he used 20 linear feet of this, etc. You get the idea. So now this is all pricing out. Just like you do Excel, I recalculate this. This is their invoice. Pretty much done here. I'm going to save this. Go right back to it. I'm going to print it. And I have a whole lot of ways to print that invoice, so we'll just do it with, we'll do it landscape like this, I think. So, there's your logo, your name, service invoice, invoice number, who you're billing, the location you billed, what you had on there, the parts you had on there. If you had some notes like, we recommend maintenance on chiller number 2 or cooler number 3, it's running low on Freon, whatever, you could put notes on there, and then you can just send this. And so I previewed it, but I could easily come in here and say, send this in Outlook, and pick who I want to send it to, and I'm done. And I didn't have the Outlook open, so here it is. I just put their name in there. I would have my signature and everything on here already, and it's done. So you took the order. I'm gonna close this real quick. So I took the order here, I dispatched it here, I billed it here and here, and I'm done. Now it's sitting in accounts receivable on your balance sheet, ready to for them to pay you. So a lot of things you can do. Don't think this will help you or not. I don't know. I can attach pictures here. So this paper clip, if the guy took a picture of the broken pipe or whatever, said you wanted to document that or the things he fixed, you could take a picture and attach it to this so it's there. And in case it comes up, why did you charge me for that? You can show them the piece that was broken. It's up to you. I have some clients that do that. Not a lot, but the ones that do, when they need it, it gets them their money a lot faster. So that's a service kind of in a nutshell. We also do, like I said, full general ledger and financial statements, all the accounting reports, your accounts payable. If I go in here, I'm just going to make some stuff up here. So I have an invoice from a vendor. So I enter the invoice. I don't have a purchase order number, but it happens to be the Home Depot. I don't have a job on this one. We'll just call it materials. It's going to, from the invoice date, it automatically fills in the due date and the discount date based on their master file record. So whatever you set up for them. No shipping number, no reference number. We'll set this up to be open and ready to pay. It's for contract. Those are not required. Materials. Let's go into that account in your general ledger. And we'll just say this is $500 because I like easy numbers. So put it in there. Whoops. I got to hit enter. So now I have the choice of charging that to an individual work order number. So if I want to charge that to work order number, whatever work order number I was on, I can't remember. Be the last one though. 1147. It's like that. Oops, what did I do here? Hang on a second. You can tell it's Friday afternoon. It's this one here. Work order number 1147. Let's put this to job 1. Okay. Actually, I can put the job number 2. The descriptions, materials, and then I can just put that to a cost code if I need to. Anyway, I'm charging to that work order, and I'm going to show you why in a second. So now as my invoices come in, I'm charging it to work orders. I have revenue by work order. Now I have my cost by work order. The guys that are working in the field, you put in your time and labor to that work order. And I don't want to say this. But what you're going to get for that, and it's going to really pay off in the long run. And I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to show you service profitability report by client. And these, I got to tell you before I bring this up, it looks kind of funky because just like I'm doing this for you, I do this a lot, and I never really follow through on billing things or putting in costs. So they look like this company makes a lot of money. But anyway, this is my customer, Jessica. These are all the work orders that I've done for Jessica. This was my material cost on those work orders. This is my labor cost on that. We'll do number 3 here. There's $300 worth of material, $1,427 worth of labor that came through payroll. So I spent $1,727, and I billed her $1,879. So I made $151, and I have an 8% profit on this billing. So over time, you're going to be able to look at clients and see how much you bill them and how much money you're making off of them. And to me, that is huge because if I get a phone call and 2 emergency calls, am I going to send them out to DC Management, who paid me a whopping $95 last year, or am I going to go to Jessica that's first, where I made $48,000? So it's going to give you information to make decisions, not having to ask people. People are going to be able to look at that really quickly to see who's doing that. I think you're probably a little small maybe, but if you had salespeople, you could actually manage profitability by the salesperson that sold that work order. So lots of ways to slice this information so that you get information you need to manage the company. So that's pretty quickly it. I mean, it's full accounting. The nice part is it pays your bills, it does your payroll, does your paychecks, and it does this service scheduling here. And I failed to ask you when I was on the phone if you do what I call recurring maintenance. We have a lot of clients that do that, where you have a contract with, and again, I'll pick 7-Eleven just for an example. You have a contract with 7-Eleven where you go out to their stores once a month, and you check all the Freon levels, you check all their filters, you check whatever voltages or whatever you guys check. I apologize, I don't know your business that well, but it's basically a maintenance contract where you're doing preventative maintenance, and you charge them on a monthly basis for that. The system handles that great. It'll create the work order to go do that, and create the monthly billing automatically to send to them. So, we have clients that bill their client $250 a month to do that, and then they go out and they do that work. Great money, and it's solid, steady income. So, if you have a tool like this and you're not doing that kind of work, it's something that you may want to pursue because not that I wish us to have another recession again, but if we ever had another downturn in the economy 3, 5, 10 years from now, that was steady income, and people didn't quit those contracts. They still wanted their equipment maintained. They may not buy new equipment. They may not make a lot of improvements, but they still wanted that thing. So these guys that did that had a nice steady flow of income for their techs, and they didn't lose. I say they probably, some of them did. Most of those guys kept their steady workforce all throughout this thing because they had that work paying their salaries and paying off some of the bills. So anyway, I told you I'd keep this around 10, 15 minutes. It's about that. Watch it. If you like it, give me a couple days notice. We'll get you on the calendar and get you a demo. And with this, I'll probably send you some information on the hosting and a couple of PDFs. I may have sent to you already or may not, but I'm going to include them with this video. So anyway, have a great weekend, safe travels, and I'll hope to talk to you next week.